Imagine swimming in the open ocean. The water beneath you is void of darkness, stretching thousands of feet down. Then you remember, once, a creature 6 times larger than the great white patrolled these waters. The Megalodon, a 60-foot prehistoric shark with teeth as big as your hand. Though extinct for millions of years, this monster still haunts our collective imagination. That primal fear you feel when something brushes against your leg in murky water, it's not random. It's an evolutionary memory. Today, we're diving into how this ancient apex predator, with its massive size and bone-crushing teeth, rewired human fear responses. And why the Megalodon isn't just a shark, it's the reason you fear what lurks beneath the abyss. Before we can truly understand the Megalodon's dominance, we need to grasp its incomprehensible size. This wasn't just a big shark, it was a living giant, an apex predator that dominated its environment like no creature before or since. Stretching up to 60 feet in length, longer than a school bus, the Megalodon was roughly 3 times the size of the largest great white sharks alive today. Its massive body could weigh up to 70 tons, equivalent to about 10 adult elephants. The dorsal fin alone would have risen above water like a sail, potentially reaching heights of over 6 feet, tall enough to tower over most humans. Its powerful tail, spanning roughly 12 feet across, generated explosive swimming power, allowing this behemoth to reach surprising bursts of speed despite its massive bulk. The Megalodon's 5 set of gill slits were enormous, each potentially large enough for a child to swim through. These supersized respiratory organs helped process the massive amounts of oxygen needed to fuel its metabolism. Even more impressive was its gaping jaw, which could open over 7 feet wide, large enough to swallow a human whole without even noticing. The Megalodon was an evolutionary masterpiece built for one purpose: dominating the prehistoric oceans as the undisputed king of the seas. And speaking of dominance, this incredible size was supported by something equally frightening: its teeth. When we talk about the Megalodon, we have to talk about those teeth. While most of this prehistoric monster's skeleton was cartilage that decomposed millions of years ago, its teeth remained, and they tell a terrifying story. A single Megalodon tooth could reach over 7 inches long. That's bigger than your entire hand. Serrated like steak knives and arranged in rows that continuously regenerated. A Megalodon could lose over 20,000 teeth in its lifetime, each one designed for one purpose: to slice through flesh and bone with devastating efficiency. Analysis of Megalodon tooth fossils reveals bite forces estimated at over 40,000 pounds, powerful enough to crush a small car. For comparison, that's about 20 times stronger than a modern great white shark. The most chilling part, these teeth weren't arranged in a single row like human teeth. Instead, they formed a conveyor belt of death. As one tooth broke off during a feeding frenzy, another would rotate forward to take its place. This meant the Megalodon never needed downtime between hunts. Scientists studying these fossils have found teeth embedded in whale vertebrae, a testimony to the violence this creature unleashed in ancient oceans. When you look at a Megalodon tooth today, you're not merely staring at a fossil, you're gazing upon the pinnacle of predatory evolution, a remnant of the ocean's most fearsome hunter. Going beyond physical power, what made Megalodon truly terrifying was also its sensory arsenal. Evolutionary advantages that turn these giants into living detection systems. Like modern sharks, Megalodon possessed the legendary Empolio Lorenzini, specialized electromagnetic sensors that could detect the faintest heartbeat of prey from over a mile away. Imagine being a prehistoric whale, thinking you're safe in the vast ocean, but your own heartbeat is broadcasting your location like a homing beacon. Their olfactory system was equally impressive, capable of detecting a single drop of blood in the equivalent of an Olympic-sized swimming pool. They basically had a superpower that transformed the entire ocean into a detectable landscape of chemical signatures. Megalodon's vision, too, was optimized for hunting. While not relying primarily on sight, their eyes were likely equipped with a reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum, the same adaptation that makes cat eyes glow in the dark, allowing them to hunt effectively in the dim light of deeper waters. Perhaps most unsettling was their lateral line system, sensory organs running along their flanks that detected the slightest water displacement from panicking prey. Even if you somehow managed to hide from all of their other senses, your movement through water created invisible pressure waves that Megalodon could feel from astonishing distances. As you can see, calling them senses just doesn't do it justice. They were quite literally evolutionary surveillance systems that turned the entire ocean into Megalodon's hunting ground. Surprisingly, despite their massive size, Megalodons weren't mindless eating machines. They were calculated predators with sophisticated hunting strategies. Paleobiologists studying attack patterns preserved in fossil whale bones have revealed the chilling precision to their predation. Megalodons specifically targeted the nutrient-rich organs of their prey, particularly the heart and lungs. Fossil evidence shows they would strike with surgical precision at the chest cavity of large whales, a strategy that disabled their prey almost instantly. This wasn't random violence, it was tactical efficiency. Unlike modern sharks that often test bite their prey, Megalodon attacks were committed and devastating from the first strike. They didn't have the luxury of hesitation when hunting 40-ton whales that could escape with a powerful tail stroke. Most fascinating is evidence suggesting these giants may have hunted in loose family groups during certain seasons, coordinating to take down prey that would be impossible for even a 60-foot predator to handle alone. This combination of tactical intelligence, precision striking, and possible social hunting behavior made Megalodons not just the largest predatory fish ever, but potentially the most effective hunters the oceans have ever witnessed. However, the Megalodon didn't appear suddenly. Just like any other living thing that ever existed or still exists on the planet, it represents the pinnacle of a long evolutionary journey. These massive hunters belong to the extinct family, Otodontidae, distant cousins of today's great white sharks, but following a separate evolutionary path that specialized in megapredation. Fossil evidence suggests Megalodon evolved from an ancestor called Otodus obliques around 20 million years ago. This predecessor was already impressive at 30 to 40 feet long, but natural selection pushed the lineage toward even more extreme sizes. Unlike modern sharks, which evolved for speed and agility, the Megalodon lineage prioritized raw power and size. What's fascinating is how this evolutionary path created a predator specifically adapted to hunt the emerging population of large marine mammals. As whales became larger over millions of years, the Megalodon lineage adapted in response, a prehistoric arms race that unfolded over millions of years in our planet's ancient oceans. Their massive size wasn't random, it was the response of natural selection to the challenge of hunting the largest creatures ever to inhabit our planet. This evolutionary history explains why no shark alive today comes even close to the Megalodon's size and strength. So you might wonder, does anything alive today give us a glimpse of what Megalodon was like? While no perfect analog exists, the great white shark serves as the closest living relative we can study. Though separated by millions of years of evolution and dramatically different in size, these modern predators share some key adaptations with their prehistoric cousin: the distinctive countershading pattern, similar tooth structure, and endothermic physiology that allow them to maintain higher body temperatures than the surrounding water. However, this resemblance is superficial at best. Modern great whites max out at roughly 20 feet, literal babies compared to the Megalodon's 60-foot frame. They hunt with speed and precision rather than overwhelming power. What we see in today's oceans are merely evolutionary echoes of the greatest predator that ever patrolled our planet's waters, specialized descendants that found different paths to survival after their massive ancestor disappeared from Earth's oceans forever. What's truly perplexing about the Megalodon is not just how it lived, but how it disappeared. Around 3.6 million years ago, they seem to have disappeared with surprising abruptness in evolutionary terms. The most compelling theory points to global cooling. As ice ages intensified, the warm coastal waters these giants depended on began to vanish. Simultaneously, their primary prey, large whales, evolved to inhabit colder polar regions, where the massive sharks couldn't follow. This apex predator, perfectly evolved over millions of years, simply vanished, leaving an ecological void that nothing has truly filled since. The mystery of their extinction is almost as compelling as their existence. So, the next time you feel that instinctive shiver when swimming over deep water, that primordial fear of something massive rising from below, remember, you're experiencing an evolutionary echo. Though Megalodon no longer hunts our oceans, its ghost still swims through our collective consciousness. The question isn't whether monsters once existed in our oceans. We know they did. The real question that should keep you up at night is this: what other ancient terrors might still lurk in the 95% of our oceans that we have yet to explore?